Finally! This is the ZimaBoard 2, and unlike the first generation, I'm in love with this thing. There are only fairly subtle changes, but it's enough to take it from an interesting option to what might just be the ultimate single board home server. This is what I've been waiting for. So let's dive in so I can explain exactly why I am so excited about this thing. Much like IceWhale, the makers of the ZimaBoard, I'm going to mostly be comparing the two generations, or at least using the first one for context. I'll start with possibly the biggest change, which is that the CPU is now an Intel N150, a quad-core E-core chip with a 10-watt TDP, which they say is 3 times faster than the N3450 that came in the two higher-end models of the original ZimaBoard. That's quite the upgrade. As for RAM, that is now either 8GB of LPDDR5 4800MHz RAM, or like mine here, 16GB. As for storage, that's either the same 32GB you got with the last gen with the 8GB RAM model, or you get double at 64GB when you double the RAM to 16 as well. One of the biggest upgrades switching to that newer and faster CPU though is actually the I/O. The PCIe 4X slot that's on the side now runs at PCIe Gen 3, up from Gen 2 on the original ZimaBoard, doubling the throughput. And even more so, the two Ethernet jacks on the back are now both 2.5GB. That's a huge upgrade. You of course still get the two SATA 6GB connectors on the back, two USB 3.1 ports plus a mini DisplayPort 1.4 ports as well. Physically, there isn't a whole lot different, subtle styling tweaks and a heatsink sort of fin change arrangement, but otherwise there's a little added fan header on the board with a little cutout should your PCIe card need a bit of extra airflow, but it is otherwise pretty similar. The thing that has changed, at least for me, is that they included the $30 optional extra hard drive cage this time, and this thing is an absolute game changer. For an otherwise clunky and awkward format, like, sure, you could, stick this thing in the top half of the box and use it with two 2.5-inch SSDs, but I mean, that's still pretty janky and your PCIe card would just be sticking up in the air. This thing gives you a way to use not only two hard drives, but also a nice and secure and compact way to add your PCIe card as well, and gives you a cute little stand for the ZimaBoard too. This to me is a must-have accessory and makes this whole thing feel a lot more polished and premium. As for the pre-installed operating system, well, that's where the differences really show up. Instead of CasaOS, which was just Debian with a web UI, this comes with ZimaOS. ZimaOS feels functionally identical to pre-built NAS operating systems from the likes of QNAP or Synology or even Ugreen. It's slick, super simple to set up, and gives you an app store with 372 apps that, for the most part, are just one-click installs. It's smooth and seamless. It is so much more polished. Setting up storage with these two hard drives after having to reboot once to clear the OS locking one of the drives for some stupid reason was done in a couple of clicks, and installing programs up to and including stuff like Olama and OpenWebUI was super simple, even if OpenWebUI did end up taking a little while. I should also add that you can add any containerized program you want because this is just basically Docker, but having all of these easy one-click installs is pretty great. Oh, and for those who are wondering, yes, you can run LLMs even on the CPU alone. The 16GB of RAM here means that you can actually run like 7 or 13 billion parameter models, although you probably want to stick to like the 1 to 3 billion sort of range if you actually want any amount of tokens per second. Even with Gemma 3 for the 4 billion parameter model, it was pretty slow. So yeah, if you are running LLMs locally, if that's what you're after, this absolutely can. It pegs the CPU at 17 watts, which is actually a fair bit higher than the 10 watt claimed TDP, which long term does heat this thing up a fair bit, but hey, if you want to, it can, even without an AI accelerator card. The fun thing about the ZimaBoard though is that while it does make a pretty excellent little 2-bay NAS, especially with its very polished pre-installed OS, you absolutely can install any OS you want on it and do anything you would like to it. And the exciting part for me about the ZimaBoard 2 specifically is that there's finally enough horsepower and RAM to actually use it for stuff. You absolutely can install Proxmox as the base OS and virtualize everything else. OpenSense, Home Assistant, TrueNAS, and anything else you'd want to run. There's just about, anyway, enough horsepower here to actually do that, and that's really cool. This gets me excited for what you can do with this thing as essentially a home lab in a box. The biggest catch with basically any product though is always the price tag, and I'm afraid to say that this one is no different. The ZimaBoard 2 starts at $20 more than the last one, at $220, with this 16GB version adding another $80 more to make it $300 total. Add in the hard drive cage at $30, and you're looking at basically the same price as a decent 2-bay NAS. Except this has PCIe and a wealth of customizations available to it that a locked down NAS doesn't. The dual NICs, even before thinking about adding more via the PCIe slots, is already an exceptional feature, allowing you to either use this as a router and a firewall, or in port trunking mode with doubling the throughput or at least adding redundancy. And it's something that a lot of NASs just don't have access to. It's also possible to just use it as a mini desktop PC. If I'm being honest, you probably shouldn't. It isn't exactly top-notch for that, but you absolutely can if you really wanted to. If you wanted to compare it the other way to the most popular single-board computer on Earth, the Pi 5, well, this has significantly more horsepower. 4 PCIe Gen 3 lanes versus 1 PCIe Gen 2 lane, dual 2.5GB LAN, and 2 SATA ports built in. This thing is a much more capable server. Sure, you are missing the pin I/O on the Pi that the Pi offers, with a wealth of options from dual mic arrays for your Home Assistant setup to servo motor drivers, but the joy of this thing being an actual computer is that you could just grab a Pi 3 or 4 and hook it up as just an accessory to this, and then you get the best of both worlds for relatively little extra cash. The point is, if you want a small but well-featured single-board server that can actually do everything that you want, well, this is an amazing choice. And especially with today's RAM crisis pricing, an extra $100 over the last gen for double the RAM and storage, let alone 3x the horsepower and more I/O, is a pretty decent deal. I think. Great job, IceWhale. Of course, those are my thoughts, so I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think about the ZimaBoard 2? Does this make sense for you as your own little personal NAS and home server and, well, home lab in a box? Or would you pick something else, a standard NAS, or do you just not need one? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll leave a link to this in the description if you're interested. You can also check out my own hardware, the open source response time and latency testing tools that aren't very relevant for this, but are very relevant for data collection purposes, which home labbers tend to like doing. I would know. Anyway, feel free to check those out at osrtt.com. Hit the subscribe button to see more videos like this one. Check out plenty of other videos on the end cards. Maybe the QNAP DXP 4800 Plus NAS that I reviewed a little while ago. That might be a relevant one for you. But otherwise, yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all in the next video.